Who even plays with Thomas and Friends Trackmaster 2009 version anymore? What's up, fellow wizards? I am going to start yet another series on my channel. This series is going to be reviewing such very old toys, especially my Thomas and Friends Trackmaster 2009 edition. This is a very old line that somehow got revamped a few years after whatever these toys are, and it's not that great. I mean, I've seen some of them online, but they're not as great as these ones. Yeah. So basically how these toys work is that you pop a AA battery into one of these bad boys, then you flick the switch to turn them on. But of course, they can only move if there even has a battery in there. Otherwise, they won't go. But if you don't want to put any batteries in it, these can also be pushed along. You know, like shown here. You can move them back and forth. And yup, things are looking pretty good so far. And you know what? The fact that these Trackmasters are even able to be pushed along is such a big advantage over the recent Trackmasters, because you can't even push them. They won't even go. If you even try to push them, you'll just hear that clicking sound. Which means the only way to make them go is to pop 2 AAA batteries into this thing. Whereas here, you only need 1 AA battery. So I like to stick with this version, because they're very easy to play with. And you don't need to play with batteries too. Another cool feature is that you can attach some rolling stock to the back of these engines. All you have to do is hook this part onto this part of the engine, like this. Now that engine is ready to pull some trucks or coaches or whatever you like and haul them along. You can also load all this rolling stock with some of these things. And you can unload them too. Cool, right? For example, I let James couple up to 5 different pieces of rolling stock. You know, just to match his number. And notice how it makes such an awfully satisfying sound. Oh yeah, another cool thing, some of the tender engines can have their tenders detached, like this, so that the engine itself can just roll on its own. Kind of like how it's a tank engine, but it's not. But with engines like Gordon, there's this thing that keeps the tender connected to the engine. That's because the batteries used to power this engine are in the tender. And it sometimes could take a C-sized battery. You know, the much bigger one. But enough with batteries. All I can say is you can't detach the tender from the steam engine, because otherwise the wires would actually break. Still, Gordon seems okay to me. And then there's engines like Emily, where the switch and the power to power the engine is in the tender, not from the engine itself. Which means that this is just a piece of rolling stock or whatever, even though it's not. And this is where all of the mechanics are. So the power from here pushes whatever is in front of it. So you hook this, and now both of these can move. The track that I used to build this entire layout has a little tannish color to them. And I think it looks so cool. And I think it references the color of the rocks that is being used when track is being laid on. It kind of looks so cool, to be honest. And of course, as always, it can fit the wheels of any engine onto it. And of course, you can slide them like this to connect them instead of having to force them in, which is a pretty nice touch if you ask me. Anyway, to build this entire set, I had to use track from 2 different train sets. And I can tell the difference just by the texture of these tracks. I mean, for the track for this train set, the track feels a lot more softer and a bit smoother. And for the track used for the other train set, the texture of the track is more rugged and solid. And yeah. And you know what? This is the largest train set I could ever create using this specific type of Trackmaster track. And we've got some cool structures like a bridge, we've got the tip of sheds, we've got a crane that actually moves. Unfortunately, I can't move it because James's cargo and stuff are in the way. And of course, we've got this mine-looking thing. You know, whenever an engine pulls this trigger, then this whole thing is going to fall down and they're going to come out the other side. Pretty interesting. And to add in some more decoration, I put Rainbow Dash, Fluttershy, Flower Wishes, and Rose Look beside the track because why not? Another feature about this huge part is that there's a lid for you to put something in. I mean, you got this, for example. And an engine needs to pull this car so that it can be activated. You know what? For example, let's put it on Thomas. So we got him over here. And when we place him up here, when he pulls this trigger, he's gonna fall down and come out this other side. No, let's get a better view from here. See if I can reach him. And there you go, he got it. He got the item. And that's because the cargo car he was pulling has these 2 notches. So that means one of those notches touched the trigger that opened this compartment. Pretty cool, right? Alright, Thomas, you can come back to your original position now. And of course, there's this bit of track which has this lever. So whenever a train goes onto it, you can push this lever and, well, they cannot glide on the tracks anymore. That's because their wheels are slightly lifted off the track. I don't think you can see it. That's because this compartment is raised whenever the lever is pushed to the stop. And you can lower this by pushing the lever to where the go says, like right here. I don't think anyone can see the label because it's, well, it's printed in the mold. I wish it was printed on though. And you've got these curvy tracks that go uphill or downhill, which can lead engines to an ascent all the way up here to a little bridge, and then down the other side. I also have some talking engines like Toby, which cannot move unfortunately, but they do have this button on top which makes them say certain phrases. And the on and off switch will be located right here at the very back of what's behind the engine. And of course, they cannot be separated. That's because the speaker is right here. Yep, that's the speaker. So I'm leaving that out of the equation for now. And of course, you can spin this turntable, push this lever, so that no engine would just rush all the way down this track. Alright, come out, Edward. You can spin the turntable to wherever you want your engine to go. And when you think you're happy with that direction, turn this lever, and that lets the engine go in this direction. Yeah, the sound that this turntable makes is kind of satisfying. It looks like James is going through a dark tunnel. And you know what? This tunnel is actually made for this type of track, which has one straight piece, but then it branches out to the left, as you can see here. And there's a little helipad. And I think this is a spot for Harold the helicopter, but unfortunately, I couldn't find him anywhere. So for now, I'm just gonna leave Fluttershy on top of it. And another thing, it's best that you do not push your engines too fast on the tracks, or they could tumble off the rails like this. Sorry about that, Luke. Let me get you back on the track. And see this little thing? That's to change the direction on where the engine is supposed to go. So if you're wanting to get an engine to go straight like this, the lever has to be like this, and you can move it this way so that the engines will go this way. Cool, right? I don't know if you're not interested in this or something, but hey, if you've made it this far into the video, why not consider subscribing to the channel? It really helps with the algorithm. I'd also like to point out that these engines, mostly they have these moving side rods. You know, these little pistons. But then there's engines who don't have moving side rods. Sometimes they're actually static. Like you can't actually move them. But that doesn't bother me much. I still like them though. See, when I push along this little train here, look how the side rods are not moving. Oh yeah, another tiny detail is that if you look real close, you can see that the track has these little grooves on it. The wheels for the engines, mainly the engines that connect the side rods to this, they have these same grooves. I think this is to grip the wheels to the tracks so that they don't slip and go the other direction, you know, instead of going up, they're going down. And that's how they'll stay in one place. I mean, like, because of these grooves, they will never fall back down. And sure, a lot of the engines that I have on this huge layout are standard gauge engines. You know, engines like Thomas and Gordon. You know, Gordon, and of course, Edward. But to add in a little more variety, I put some narrow gauge engines on there too. We've got Rheneas and Luke over here. Yep, these two are narrow gauge engines, even though they look like they're about the same size as Thomas or Percy. But hey, I don't think the scaling really bothers me much. All I think about is just having fun with these toys. I mean, these are actually so good. You can actually push them along, which is a feature that got removed with the recent Trackmaster toys. Oh, what's this? James is still blocking this little intersection. Alright, James, we'll get you up the hill. Oh no, you're stuck. Don't worry, I'll fix that for you. Okay, he should be able to move now. And you can hear that awfully satisfying noise. Since James is pulling a lot of stuff, it makes him harder for him to go up hills. Like I'm pulling from here, and James is moving slower up this little mountain, and that happens. Well, that's because he's pulling too many stuffs. Yeah, that happens when you're pulling too much. That's why rolling stock derails. Yeah, it's a great bother to deal with when your engine is pulling a lot of this rolling stock. So the best thing to do, you can push one of the rolling stock that's in the middle of the train so that none of the parts would derail. But if you pull from the front or the back, then things are going to derail from the track. Wait, what's this? Oh no! Rheneas and Henry are blocking the intersection. Neville's going to crash into them after he goes down this little mine. We need to move Henry and Rheneas out first. This is what engines normally do to prevent crashes. Rheneas' turn to move out, but uh-oh, he suddenly stopped. Watch out! Somebody's coming over. Crash. Well, Rheneas can't move anymore. No worries, we'll just back Neville up. And then we can get these two cargo cars back on the track. And Rheneas can start moving again. And now James has to wait before he can go down this mine. because that's when this little intersection will be all clear. You know what, Reneus? We need some more fun. How about we give Roseluck a little ride? I don't know if she can stand it. I guess I'll let her lay on the cargo car. Move Neville along the track too. And there's another track beside this mine that Thomas is going to. And of course you can change the points so that Luke would veer off into Titmus Sheds. Move Percy and Edward out of the way first. And what's this? Henry's going to the sheds too. And it sounds like he's done for the day. Uh-oh. Spin the turntable. Uh-oh. Move out of the way, Emily. And now we move this lever so that Henry can back into the shed. And you know what? Let's have Emily go out for a little drive too. Oh no, we're causing a traffic jam. Hurry up, Edward. It seems that Roseluck wants to go down that mine again. Alright, let's change the points and we'll let Reneus go up this little mountain right here. Wait, James, don't go down this little slide. We need Thomas to move out of the way first. Hurry up, Thomas, or James will hit you. We'll move Neville out of the way too. You know what? We can also put these up so that when engine runs along this track, these two are going to fall over. Alright, James, you're clear to slide. Oh no, he didn't quite make it all the way through. Some of his rolling stock is still in the mine. Oh no, what happened to you, James? You have derailed. Whoopsies. Let me fix that for you. There we go. That's much better. Or not. There we go. You know what? I think I've got an idea. You can also take off these parts of the bridge. You know, these blue trapezoids. Okay. And you can make engines really feel like they're in for some real danger. There's no size to it, so there is a possible chance of falling off. Alright, Gordon made it safely across. But what about Edward? Careful you don't go too fast. Alright, he's safe. What about you, Percy? Ugh. He's safe too. Uh-oh. Let's fix the track a little bit. Oh no! He's going to bump into Percy! Watch out! And Percy is derailed. And Luke tumbled along with him. Honestly, I'm having way too much fun playing with this train set. Can't believe I'm playing with this type of thing. Oh, Emily, move along so that Neville can move along. Oh, one thing that's unique about Emily, she has this huge wheel that connects her little side rods all the way to here. Pretty cool, right? Her side rods also look different. For reference, here's Neville's side rods. And this is Emily's side rods. It's pretty clear how different they are to each other. Oh, Thomas, you better speed up. I don't want to slow down and be late. Oh, oops. Alright. We'll let Thomas into the sheds to free up some more space. And James can continue on with his job. And yes, all of his rolling stock can also fit through the tunnel. Oh, James, the turntable needs to be set to the correct points so that you can move again. He's still blocking the intersection with his trucks and stuff. That's much better. Since I decided not to shove some AA batteries into these engines, I had to overexert my arms just so I could push these engines up this little mountain. And golly, it's a lot of work. Hey, what's this lever for? I think it has to do with this little trigger here. See, when you move this trigger to here, that means that when you pull this trigger, the gate is gonna crash down and close. You can lift it back up with this little handle, and the gate is now open. Alright, Rheneas is already at the top of the mountain. Let's see if he can survive. Uh-oh, one of the trucks is derailed. We don't want Roseluck to fall and get hurt. Alright. Rheneas. Normally, you can't push down on this little thing unless the mine is like this. Which means that this trigger has to be activated for it to drop. Ooh, that was quite a ride. And not a single cut or bruise on Roseluck. Obviously, I'm having way too much fun playing with these trains. It really takes me back to when I was like 10 years younger or something. Man, these trains really bring back memories. Oh, I need to repair the bridge. Put these things back on. I can also notice that there's these little dots on it. I'm glad they added those details in though. Put this in. Make sure it lines up with these holes. And that's it for this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. It's free. It can always change your mind. Alright, we're gonna need to fix that mess. Alright, Percy, you can get back on the track. Alright, Gordon is just a slow coach here. He needs to speed up. And we're gonna move along too. And Percy is also free to go too. Oh dear, I forgot to repair Luke. Or in this case, put him back on the track. Along with his rolling stock. And that's a wrap for this video. And I truly think that this era of Thomas and Friends Trackmaster is the best era of Thomas and Trackmaster. Obviously this is based on my opinion, so if you guys disagree with it, I'm totally fine. And yep, that's it. Thank you for watching this unnecessary video. And always remember, stay calm, stay strong, stay safe. And bye for now.